Hey guys, here is the preseason war number 3, and for this war I have a team of Red Hulk, Tigra, and Nebula. So we're starting in the middle of this fight because I forgot to record at the start like an idiot. I need to get back in the habit of recording off-season wars because, previously I would only record interesting fights in the off-season, but now that I'm uploading it, obviously gotta record most of the fights in the off-season. So yeah, let's get into this. First of all, we have this Node 7 Sorcerer Supreme with Red Hulk. The basic idea here is to just nuke it, and the nice thing about Red Hulk is that with how tanky he is, he can actually eat an L3. As long as she's not in the Fury phase and has a bunch of armor rigs. On you can eat an L3 because the Hulk is a tanky motherfucker. Probably not unboosted, but yeah. This one has Sui's and no MD on, so it's just a very easy fight, of course, but it's a good matchup during season as well. You just want to pop an invuln during season to help out, of course. And yeah, next up we have this 16 thing. Now I finally took my Tiger at the Sig 180, which is really exciting. I'm really happy to have Tiger at a high Sig. I love using her. It's going to be so great for Battlegrounds. I don't expect her to use her much in War because I'm not a kitty player. But she'll be great for Battlegrounds. She's a load of fun, so I'm happy to finally get that. And we get really passive AI to start this fight off. I'm trying to avoid doing combos because it's vivified, and I don't want to give Thing too much power. But that's definitely leading to my phase of starting to have risk of falling off, which is definitely not preferable. Now we push that L2. Because it has the quicker animation, our senses can stay up, and we just barely keep our senses up. But it's enough that we just get this fight basically over with. He's almost dead. We have the Thing for ready to go. We have, good rock stack control. And yeah, he's dead. Really solid fight with Tigra. Definitely a great matchup there. But definitely would want to be a little bit more careful and probably pop a Power Star 1 for that fight in the season. And now I've got this Node 21 Nick Fury with Red Hulk. Not an ideal matchup, but Red Hulk has a fuck ton of damage, and to get rid of the second life, you can just use your L3. And using that L3 will kill pretty much the entire second life after some dancing around, of course. And that's the good thing about Red Hulk here. And here, I get a lag spike. I had meant to swipe back, but it did not swipe back. So we're going back in the fight, but just a 40% revive, of course, because off-season. And yeah, we're gonna just finish up the fight. It's gonna be difficult to finish up with such little health. But, we're gonna finish up. It's a very quick fight and definitely doable on season, but hopefully I wouldn't be getting lag spikes during season, because that would definitely suck for a fight like this regardless. And yeah, as you can see, we're cleaning up solidly. We need to bait one heavy here. I missed the first parry, which let that deal so much damage, but now we're in a good position. We have our L2, so this is going to be able to let me push him above his L2 with my own L2, and also do a lot of damage with that L2, of course. And yeah, now we're about to finish him up. We got into this cycle of just baiting special 2s, and he's just dead from that L1. So, solid matchup, definitely doable during season, but of course, I made a pretty big mistake there. And now we have Nebula versus the 35 Jabari. And the nice thing about this matchup is that Nebula versus this Jabari, you can actually apply the shocks even with one eye open, because she's going to shrug your stun, but she's not going to be able to shrug all of those shocks, as you're going to be able to see here. So it just makes her Nebula a really good option for this, and it's a pretty bad placement, but of course this is off-season, so bad placements are expected. But yeah, Nebula just absolutely destroys this fight. Perfect matchup for on-season. I mean, Havoc's also a perfect matchup for this, and Kingpin's also a perfect matchup for this. There's a lot of perfect matchups for this, but yeah, you know what I mean. And yeah, we're just baiting out this L2. Obviously this one has Sui's, so it's quicker than it would be in season, but, still a perfect matchup in season, of course. Bait that L2, and yeah, she's about to die here. We just throw her L2, and the L2 itself does enough damage to finish her off after a little bit of just dancing around with the Sui's and stuff. And yeah, we're good. And now next up, we have this Bishop. And now this Bishop actually has Suizon, which is actually a little bit risky for Bishop, oddly enough. But yeah, Nebula is a fantastic matchup for Bishop here. There is a strategy to make it completely safe so that there's no risk of him launching an unblockable special. And I'm going to take this strategy into action here. First off, I make a mistake there. Thankfully, for Nebula's regen, we just heal back up that mistake. But yeah, that definitely isn't ideal. And yeah, we want to push to L2 first. And we're going to bait this L2. And we're going to block the whole thing. We want to block this to gain power. And now we're going to block some more hits to gain power. And what our goal is to get a medium light medium special 2. And this is going to keep him just under his L1, so he's not going to be able to throw an L1 while I have the shocks up. And this makes it so he can't go unblockable with his L1. We'll still take a bit of basic burst damage, but that's the safest way to deal with that fight. And it makes Nebula a very safe option. Now next up for the scroll with Tigra. This has Aspect of Evolution, so he does have a chance to gain his buff still. But Tiger is just going to end the fight very quickly. Here, I mess up and I let go of my heavy too quickly. You're supposed to wait till the heavy animation fully goes through, of course. Here, I do it correctly, and we throw our L2 with only 3 ruptures, but this has suicides on, so it's enough to just end the fight. And yeah, solid off-season war. Tigra, getting to use Tigra is awesome, and yeah, very excited to have that high sig Tiger to mess around with.